Welcome back here, Totem Pole Nation. We are live checking in here. You got Mr. Bottles and myself representing Florida. We got Coach T. Man, we were just talking about it off air. Tell us exactly what happened, what occurred yesterday. Just unbelievable.
Jeff Matthews has been watching Totem Pole Nation. He's been watching the podcast. I can't remember if it was kindergarten or first grade. He was in my class, and we used to play Knight Rider. And I don't think I was ever David Hasselhoff. I was always Kit. I was always the car. All right, we used to play Knight Rider. I don't know how you play Knight Rider, but this
How
is
do you?
things kids don't do today. You just run around the playground, and one guy's a car, and the other one's David Hasselhoff. But he's from my neighborhood, Courthouse Green, same neighborhood,
Same number, same hood.
address, yeah. And we had practice, and then it's Taco Tuesday. So everybody in America, they have Taco Tuesday somewhere where it's $1 tacos. They're small. They don't put as much meat. All right. The tacos I hate to tell everybody this, but it's a life lesson. $1 taco night, the tacos are significantly different than regular nights. Okay. So you think you're getting a good deal, but I mean, the drink's $5 for soda. So they're making money. But we went to Taco Tuesday after practice, me, my AD, and one of my assistant coaches. And I look on the app for our fundraiser, and I see someone gave $1,000. I'm like, what in the world? And I look, and it's Jeff Matthews. And I'm like, wow. I was just blown away. That's never happened before. In 24 years of coaching, that, just a former player gives $1,000. Like, and what's humbling is on Sunday, I was on the phone with Morgan Moses, a professional football player for the Ravens, who has signed 2 contracts, well, 3 counting the Jets, one with the Redskins, one with the Jets, and one with the Ravens. And I was just trying to help Meadowbrook High School. For y'all that don't know, that's a school down the road where I used to be the head coach. And I was trying to help them to get some money for some headsets, around $2,200. And, she told me she was going to talk to Morgan and everything. And then yesterday, a guy who is a former veteran gives $1,000. And then Mike Stevens, who's our kicking coach, I started a little, humbug between them.
Kicker beef?
Like, kicker beef. I got Moose to say, like, hey, Coach Stevens said he was better than you. So then it turns out they want to have a kicking competition. So Jeff's like, I'll say you're a better kicker than me if you donate $1,000.
Match him.
Yeah, Mike was like, I don't have $1,000. And he's like, okay, I got you. $1,000. I want Troy. This is in Mike Stevens' name. So then there's another kicker, the kicker before these guys, because they were teammates and they were competitors. And competition makes you better. Competition makes you better. Either you step up and get better or you get ran over. All right. There was a kicker before them, Mike White, who went to the University of Richmond. And then he got into it. I don't know. His name got brought up. Boom. Jeff goes, I'm going to donate $1,000 for Mike White in Mike White's name. So now he's at $3,000. Then last night I woke up at like 3:30 in the morning and looked at my phone, and Jeff Matthews has given another $1,000. And the kicker before Mike White's name, Mike Owen, who kicked a 41-yard field goal to get him to the state championship in 1991. So, like, usually with boosters, usually with people who give money, they expect something in return. Influence, be on the sidelines. Their kid plays, tax write-off. Troy, I got to get your tax ID number. I got to get a letter, or they might be a business owner. They might be a millionaire. They might be a professional athlete. But in 24 years of coaching, I've never had anyone give our program $4,000. And boom, that's instantly a set of brand new jerseys for the boys. So, Jeff Matthews, you're from Courthouse Green. You served America. And I don't want to get too personal, but basically, Kyle, we've been the low man on the totem pole. We've been down and out. And he said that if he ever got back on his feet, that he was going to give back. And we got blessed. Man, we got blessed. So that's what I got. What do you think, Kyle? That's your friend. You were seniors together.
Wow.
Y'all graduated together.
Yeah, Jeff was he was just amazing, man. He was amazing. One of the things he would do, Johnny, that was so awesome is we would have practice, and then at the very end of practice, to put the pressure on those guys, coach would line them up, from 40 yards. Boom, he'd nail it. Move it back 5, kicking the ball from the 45, 45 yarder, nailed it. There was a couple times where he moved that thing back to almost 50 and 55 yards, and he would nail it. And the thing about it, too, is he would put sprints on the line. So all the boys got to run if he misses. All the boys get to celebrate when he makes it. And I tell you what, he got us out of so many sprints. He was our hero. And, it worked the same way over in the game, every game. I mean, I don't think he missed a PAT all year, and he was just as clutch as can be. And, that's the thing. The kicker is usually the guy nobody hears about or nobody talks about, but that's the guy that always comes in there and wins the damn game for you, So huge shout out,
Johnny,
Jeff,
I want
man.
to ask Johnny something. Johnny, my dad always said, the people that don't have it are the ones that give it. And the people that have it are the ones that don't give it. Have you ever heard of this saying, and is it true?
I've never heard of that before, but yeah, you don't have it because you gave it all away. You were generous with what you have, be it knowledge, money, your material possessions, and you don't have it anymore because you gave it all away. The happiest people are the ones that are spent. You have a hard day at work, you're exhausted, you come home, and you're sitting there chilling out after a nice hot shower. Well, some people take cold showers, but yeah, a nice cold shower for the coach on the right here, and you feel happy and content that you had a hard day and you're relaxed now and you're spent physically, sometimes emotionally. But what you're driving at right now is the people who are generous with their time, generous with what they have, be it a hot meal or the last $3 in their pocket, are the most contented people and happy people out there. And I like what you said earlier. Competition makes you better. And you can apply that in anything in life. Competition will make you better.
Yeah, I mean, you got Kobe. Today's podcast, Kyle, you got a quote from Kobe. What is the quote from Kobe, Coach Bald?
Yeah, I don't have it right in front of me, so you're gonna have to let me know. But yeah, I saw that, and just about inspiration and stuff like that, and it's how many people that you can help and raise their level.
Inspiring others.
Yeah, inspiring others. Yep. Mm-hmm. And I recently had a guy I used to coach. He was on our podcast when we did the live from St. Pete Rejuvenate. My man Tyreek Robinson, a huge shout out. He's like a son to me, but better because I don't have to feed him. And I'm super proud of him because at one time, he's playing college ball. He was playing, the zero technique, and I think he got up to about 360 pounds. And now he's down to 240 pounds. And he looks phenomenal. The guy's got abs, and he sends me these videos. And if you pull up on my Twitter feed, I just posted a video of him that he had sent me. But yeah, man, the guy just wanted to change his life, and as a guy that has coached offensive linemen, once you're done playing pro ball, you don't need to be that same size. You don't have to have all that muscle mass to live a good life. You know what I mean? It's not good for your heart to be 360 pounds. And I asked him, man, what made you do this? And he said, Coach, I wanted to look like you. And I was just like, wow. It completely, yeah, it just blew me away.
Just to talk about one thing that Jeff texted me yesterday, he said, Troy, in a recent Totem Pole Nation, you said that your dad had always told you that you're going to leave the world the same way you came in it, butt naked and broke. And I told him, I said, dude, I don't even expect or even think that people are listening. You know, we just go. We do this because we love it. And you don't expect anyone to listen, you know, but he said that. And he said, that's the way I feel. So,
Wow.
Johnny, how does that make you feel that, you know, the Totem Pole Nation Life Lessons podcast, which you've been a part of for a month or two, I mean, has had an impact where a guy gave $4,000 to a high school?
I think that's amazing. I mean, you know, I always, when I first met you guys, I always said, you never stop coaching. You guys are always coaching. You know, when you're off work, you're coaching, right? Troy and Coach Bald, he's
a
retired
life
from
coach.
the game. He's retired from the game. He's a life coach now.
He's certified. We haven't talked about that.
Yeah, he is certified.
But this man studied for how long, Kyle,
Months.
to get that
life
coach certification?
I mean, it's been something I've been doing, you know, when I started back, I did Lakewood over 10 years ago. You know what I mean? It's something that has always kind of been a part of me, the influence. And, you know, I wouldn't be where I was at if I didn't have the coaches that I had growing up, you know, and I still am in communication with them. You know, Coach Terry Sorensen, you know, he's a Facebook buddy of mine. You know, I mean, there's just so many that have such influence. I could probably text Coach Bland right now, and I'm sure he would hit me up when he got some free time. You know, those guys. I mean, Coach Jim Kiefer, they're at Bird now. You know, he was like a big brother to me. The influence that those guys have over their career it's unbelievable. I mean, most coaches have an effect on somebody in 1 year than most people have in their whole lives, and that's 1 year. And you know, I get it. I totally understand it. And, you know, it's phenomenal when, you know, to be a part of what's going on right there. You know, when I had Isaiah Wynn reach out and come up to the clinic, you know, to see him give out a whole free clinic, give out gear, give out food, you know what I mean? That type of stuff. It's always going to come back to you. You know, the things we've been able to do at St. Pete Rejuvenate, the giveaways that we've done, the ketamine infusions. We did 2 ketamine infusion pretty much giveaways. And I mean, that's some big money that was pretty much a giveaway right there.
But it came back.
It came back. It came back. We changed 2 people's lives forever. And if one person watches this podcast and they get something from it, like you did, Jeff Matthews, it's worth it.
I'm going to say one more thing and I'm going to get off of here because this took me after the COVID season, 23 years pretty much, 22 years to come up with. Number one, why do we do it? Number one, we want to change lives. We want to change lives. We want your life to be better because you watch Life Lessons, because you are part of Totem Pole Nation. We're a team. We're a championship team. 2, we want to help get you to the next level, the next stage. 3, we want to build champions for life. So those are the 3 things. It took me 23 years to figure that out. Why do we do it? That's it. But I love y'all. Y'all the best. And keep it rolling, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, Coach.
Shut this off. Don't shut y'all down.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Johnny, man, I don't know if you got to tune in last night, but it was really my first time watching the whole bash at the beach fiasco. Wow, that was some very, very intriguing stuff. Were you able to catch any of that last night?
No, I record it, and then
Yeah,
whatever
watch
I
it.
didn't see from Monday night, I'll go back. Like Monday Night Raw, I'll watch whatever I fell asleep during for that. I'll watch that, or if I got something else, I watch. I always have one in the pipe, a recording in the pipeline where I could just. I like the luxury watching on the DVR and hitting that 30-second skip button when I come to the commercials and just zipping through it. It brings an hour-long program down to 44 minutes. You know what I mean? When you're watching Monday Night Raw, especially when it's 3 hours long, you can bring that sucker down to 2 hours by skipping all the commercials. So that's what I do. But I've got, on Wednesday mornings, what I usually do is after this, I go and have my second cup of coffee of the day, the protein shake with the greens in it, and I sit there and kick back and watch Dark Side of the Ring. And that's what I'm going to do. That's my go-to when I get off with you soon. So
good deal. And that's the thing now. You've been on that kind of ritual now for a couple of weeks. I mean, how are you feeling?
I lost about 6 pounds.
Yes.
6 pounds off the gut just from doing this. And you got more energy because your body's not bogged down with digesting your breakfast. I would always have a big breakfast and skip lunch. But now I find that I do the protein shake with the greens in it. That carries me through all the way to maybe about 3 o'clock. I'm thinking to myself, I could go for something right now. So like a snack or something. What I do is I get a fork full of peanut butter. And I take a fork because you get less. Instead of a spoon, you have like a shovel full if I put a tablespoon in the jar. I stick a fork in. I got my cup of coffee. I take a fork full of peanut butter. I eat the peanut butter off the fork. Whatever's left, I stick it in the coffee and stir it up. And melts in the coffee. You get that little bit of fat, which is not bad fat. It's good fat. You get a little bit of fat in there, a little bit of sweetness from the peanuts. And believe it or not, that carries me through to about 7 o'clock for dinner. So.
Wow, that is great. And you're not starving yourself. And you're feeling a lot better. And that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? We can always change. We can always get a little bit better. So I'm excited for you.
I copied you because I would even with the apple cider vinegar, I do a shot of that before I come on the air.
Ooh.
And with that, I found, here's what I would do. I'd get up in the morning, make a pot of coffee, and I turn the TV on, and I go in the kitchen while I'm listening to the news, fry maybe 3 eggs, so throw some bacon, sausage, or whatever in the thing, cook 2 pieces of toast, and I would eat that. And I'd find myself, and this would be like 8 o'clock in the morning, I'd find myself around 9:30, 10 o'clock, sitting on the recliner, dozing off. Because you got the full stomach, your blood sugar's out of whack from even if I'm drinking coffee, I'd have 2 cups of coffee by then. I'm still going, close my eyes right now and take a little snooze. The next thing you know, you're doing the white-eyed rollback and sitting on the couch, and the dogs are waking me up around noon going, hey, why are you sleeping? We got to go out. It was just crazy. It was insane. And I said, I got to do something. I got to think of something here. So I saw what you do, and I did a little research on the apple cider vinegar routine. That balances out your blood sugar. My thing was I would eat, and my blood sugar would go up, and I'm not diabetic. I've been checked out. Right. But I just would be like I had a Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, you know that feeling you get after you have a nice Thanksgiving dinner and you're all full.
Yeah, that tryptophan.
Yeah, that would happen to me just from eating that breakfast. Even if I ate like something like 2 slices of pizza and a Diet Coke, I would still, because of the time of the day, they say your blood sugar rises when you're asleep because you're not active. Everything's just sitting there. Only thing that's going is your ticker, moving juices and fluids all through your body. It's kind of disgusting when you think about it. But, that's the only thing that's moving around is your ticker. And I guess your blood sugar settles or what have you. I don't know the chemistry behind it all, but your blood sugar's higher in the morning. They say that some people take apple cider vinegar at night. So when they wake up, they don't have that high blood sugar. It stabilizes and balances it. I might try that too. I got to buy up another bottle of that stuff today when I go to the grocery store. But I'm dead on my last 2 shots, and I don't want to run out. So And folks, get the kind of what's called the mother. They call it the mother for some reason. It's got all that stuff that's floating around on the bottom of the bottle. And that's the good stuff right there. You want to shake it up. So when you do a nice healthy shot of that in the morning or at night, depending upon your preference, you've got that floating around in your shot glass or your tablespoons or whatever, however you get it into your body. You have that floating around the apple cider vinegar that you're going to ingest. So that's the good stuff, the mother. It's a product of the fermentation process. It's got all the nutrients in it. You just don't get apple cider vinegar that's clear. That's not the good stuff.
Right. Definitely hit up Costco or Sam's Club. Get it in bulk. They've got these certain health stores, and I mean, all they put an extra $10 on every price tag. So yeah, go there, get it in bulk, and start a new ritual and give it a couple of weeks. And I can promise you this, it's never gonna taste good. It's never gonna be one of those where you're just like, oh, tastes like ice cream. No,
right.
No, not. But the health benefits it's gonna do for you, it's gonna make everything better. Better digestion. Everything just gets better. You'll end up sleeping better because of this, and that's what it's all about. And that's the thing, Johnny. It's you've made small changes and just added to it and added to it, and over a long period of time, I mean, those small changes over a long period of time, it change everything.
Oh yeah,
They really
absolutely.
do. It's the small things sometimes, and yeah, it is. They're just things that they're your non-negotiables. Like, I can't even leave the house unless I do that apple cider, or I take that cold shower. Those non-negotiable things. And I always say to people, it's like brushing your teeth. You got to brush your teeth, right? Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, what else is going on with you? Any news that we need to hop in today?
I saw that the CEO of Uber was in New York City yesterday.
Uber.
And he took a 2.9-mile Uber drive because he called an Uber. He needed a ride. He wasn't going to take a city taxi. So he called an Uber, and he was appalled at the $51.69 price tag that he had to pay for a 2.9-mile drive. 2.9 miles the man traveled. You could have ran that, sir. You could have ran that easily. And he was shocked at it. He said, is inflation that bad? He's going to have to go back now and revisit their price structure because he got hit for a high Uber bill. Can you imagine the CEO and finally realizing what's going on with his price structure of his company? We lost the coach. The coach is frozen. Let me take it. Well, I could take you out and bring you back in again. I better wait. The coach is, folks, if you're watching this on screen right now, he's not a human statue. He hasn't had a stroke. He's just, he's out. He's coming back. He shall return. Maybe his internet went out. Yeah, the CEO of Uber was shocked by the fact that he had to pay $51.69. Absolutely unbelievable. Well, anything else that's happening? Let's take a look at some news. And my go-to for the news is always the New York Post website. I always check that out to see. Oh, here he comes now. You back, boss?
Yeah, sorry about that. I think Coach Taylor's been getting us with new UFOs, and they might be trying to sponsor the show here soon.
Aliens for Totem Pole. There you go. Fantastic. They're probably on their saucer right now, hijacking the transmission.
Right.
Yeah, how are these guys?
Got the dog back here just in case. So
I saw while you were talking earlier, the dog was on dolphin patrol in the back.
Yeah. Oh, yours would love it, man, because they
sure.
Once they start seeing stuff move out in the water, it's contagious, man. They're over there chomping at the bits.
Well, they're bad enough I got them patrolling the bushes and the trees and everything at my property. So, I mean, one day when the wife was home, she's screaming, John, get out here, get out here. And there's a possum. They had a possum cornered up against the fence. Just a mother possum out there in the day looking for food for its young. and she had, I guess, a den. Is that what you call a possum's house? A den or a nest? Whatever. She had some young underneath the tree out in the backyard in the corner, and the dogs found her looking for food during the day because they're nocturnal animals, and yeah, they go back to that tree looking for that possum family. I think they moved on to another neighborhood, but
We had the same issue. I mean, this probably happened 6 months ago. And I even talked about it on the show. But 6 months ago, I got a little sliding glass, let her out, and she just starts immediately attacking this thing. And I go out there, I get her out, I get her back in the house, and that thing's just kind of sitting there, just kind of oozing. And then the possum starts kind of limping away.
mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know, no way. So, what do I go do? I go get a broom. I mean, that's what you use. You don't want to get attacked. So I grab the broom, and as fast as I walk inside to grab the broom and come back out, that thing, which I last saw, was just kind of gimping away very slowly. That thing was gone. And I was like, wow, that thing, he was obviously playing possum. So the next thing I do, we're talking on the show, and then the show ends, and I'm like, you know what? Let me go. Like, that thing couldn't have made it far, just the way it was limping, but it was, out of sight at the time. I open up the front door, and as I look, like, I have some little bushes in the front,
Mm-hmm.
and all I see was its eyes just like staring at me, like looking very spooky, man. And I slammed that door real quick, like, get ready, Malaysia. We're about to go for round 2 here. But yeah, the next time I opened the door, the thing was gone. It was like a pretty weird, pretty eerie situation. But yeah, man, those possums, there's some weird looking things, man. I thought it was a big rat at first, and then everybody's like, no, that's possum right there, brother.
I was looking at the patio one day, and they found the mother possum prior to being trapped against the fence. I saw my dog Angel out there trying to pick this thing up. I said, "What are you doing? Angel, what are you doing?" And we've got like an in-law suite on the property, and the big tree that the possums live under is in that right next to that in-law suite. So she's between the two. I'm going, "What has she got?" And I walk out, and Bubba's like, she's either like runs over, looks at me, and looks over at her, looks at me, and looks over at her, like, she's doing something bad, boss. She's doing something bad. And I go, oh my God. I walk over, and it looked like a dead possum. I said, good Lord, you killed a god darn possum. I get the shovel, and I start digging a hole. And I walk over, and I take the shovel, and I'm going to lift the possum up and drop it in the hole I just dug. The possum lifts his head up like, what are you doing? What's going on? It pretended it was dead because the dog's trying to pick it up in her mouth.
Yeah.
So it pretended it was dead.
That's
and
it.
I scooped it up, and he jumped off the shovel and ran behind the in-law suite. I said, that was different. I went back and filled the hole back up. And they're running around trying to catch it. I don't know where the damn thing went to. It was a mystery, like the one you had.
Yeah.
It just vanished, man. Just gone.
Man.
Don't know how they do it. They disappear on you fast, and they pretend they're dead. Playing possum, folks. Yeah, they're playing possum. So that's what they do.
I did. I opened the front door, and I mean, it reminded me of Jack Nicholson in The Shining, man. It was just like eyeballing me, and yeah, man, I shut the door real quick, like, not today, Satan, not today.
Not today, Satan. Exactly. Coach, I got to ask you, what do you think about the sorry state of New York baseball?
Oh, man, I'll tell you
Lord.
what, as a Rays backer, man, it's great to see Tampa Bay go up there and take those guys to the woodshed, the Yankees. But man, the more intriguing thing is, what about the New York Mets just trading away Justin Verlander and pretty much just picking up the contract? Man, those New York Mets, they're still paying Bobby Bonilla, I believe.
Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. It's probably got to be a disappointing for all the baseball fans. I'm pretty sure they cannot wait for football season with their Jets and Giants, so they can talk about that, because their teams right now, they are struggling big time.
I know a gentleman, a mutual friend of ours, his initials are FF, if you know who I'm talking about, who puts meltdown videos on Twitter every day about how bad the Mets are. And we won't say the man's name, but it rhymes with schmang schmemming.
Yeah.
He's probably drowning his sorrows right now in a gallon of Wesson oil, just chugging it right from the bottom.
Yeah, man.
Frank
Hey,
Fleming.
I think his nickname is very similar to what those teams are doing, right? They're tanking right now.
Tanking.
They are
Unbelievably
tanking.
tanking.
The Mets are following suit and tanking. Yeah, that is something else.
The trolls came for me on Twitter the other day when Pee Wee
Again?
Herman died. When Pee Wee
Yeah.
Herman died. Yeah, Pee Wee Herman passed away. And I posted the link from Variety saying that he passed away, and I wrote in quotation marks, "I know you're dead, but what am I?"
Right.
And they all came after me about Pee Wee Herman. And you see all these tributes and all these people who love Pee Wee Herman, Pee Wee's Playhouse back in the 90s and all this. The man was 70 years old. He's been around in the public eye since he was 18, straight out of high school. He went right to Hollywood and performed. It's like off Broadway, but it's not Broadway in Hollywood, of course. It's like off Broadway theater, and that's where he had the Germany idea for the Pee Wee's Playhouse. It was a skit in a comedy review that he was in back in those days, and then he had a full blown show. It wasn't called Pee Wee's Playhouse; it was called the Pee Wee Herman Show, and it was a little more risque. A lot of sexual innuendo, and Miss Yvonne, the next door neighbor with the big rack, had more of that rack exposed in shorter skirts, and the Broadway production of the Pee Wee Herman Show. A lot of people don't realize the man got locked up. The younger kids out there don't realize he got locked up for what he did in the movie theater many years ago.
Yeah, I think that was in Tampa.
And one thing they kept quiet. You remember do you remember the principal of Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yes.
Actor named Jeffrey Jones. He was also, for you 80s aficionados out there, he was the bad guy in not Back to School, Easy Money with Rodney Dangerfield. Rodney's movie debut. Also the debut of Joe Pesci in a movie. Joe Pesci was his sidekick in that. It was a great comedy. Look it up, folks, if you're too young to remember. Easy Money is a great, great movie. He was the bad guy in that, too. He was good friends with Pee Wee Herman. And they both got busted for having child pornography in the form of artwork in their house back in the year 2003. And they went to trial 2004. And I think Pee Wee got community service, paid a ton of fines. Jeffrey Jones actually went to prison. He went to jail for that, for what he had in his house.
Wow.
But those guys got busted for child porn. So
they were not the best of guys.
Not the best of guys, not the best of men out there, even though people in the entertainment industry are saying that they were saints. Pee Wee Herman was a saint. He wasn't a saint. So it is what it is, guys.
Probably visiting that island before it was an island, or had their own island.
I wouldn't be surprised, Coach. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
All these people running in the same circles, they're all connected in Hollywood. So
yeah, it's freaky when you see all that stuff about, those names and how those names aren't released yet. It's pretty much madness.
Well, they released the names. Private individuals have said, "Oh, here's the logbooks right now," and they have a list. But it could be a made-up list. You don't really know. Nothing's been validated. No one's actually taken a picture of the logbooks from the planes going down there and all that.
It's all hearsay, right?
It's all hearsay right now until it's actually released by the media, I guess. Well, a lot of times the media is hearsay nowadays. Did you know Ghislaine, how do you pronounce it? Whatever. Maxwell, his female accomplice, who would bring women, young girls, to the island. You know, she was a submarine pilot. She was a certified submarine pilot. She would pick people up on the mainland in the submarine. They'd go underwater and take celebrities in that way to underwater grottos beneath that island, just so they wouldn't be detected. Unbelievable, folks. It's the stuff that goes on nowadays with the political system in this United States that we live in, and in the world. It's like something out of a James Bond movie.
Is there a bank crisis?
Is there a bank crisis? Yes, there's a bank crisis because of bad investments in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's got a lot to do with the bank crisis. And the government wants you to put all your money in Bitcoin. The United States government, even though they say, no, don't do it. They want you to put all your money in Bitcoin so they can control it. They can control what you spend. So you gotta read the news and then read alternative news sites, and you gotta put together your own scenario. You gotta look at it a certain way and read between the lines. That's what you have to do nowadays to find the truth. Just like aliens. Who knows? And now the government says, yeah, we've seen UFOs. There's documentation of it. And then a whistleblower came out, about 2 months ago? A young guy. You know, he's a high muckety-muck with the Air Force at the time. He says, we've got a UFO in a sequestered location. So,
that's right. Hey,
who do you believe?
Maybe that I know you saw the clip of the young lady that was on the plane. that
oh yeah,
such and such is not real.
Yeah, and she was a. If you looked at her LinkedIn profile, if you looked at her LinkedIn profile, I think wasn't she like a vice president for a PR firm or for some sort of investment company? So she wasn't a crackpot. She wasn't a lunatic. She was a good work history, an officer in her company, vice president, and she wasn't a crackpot. She had 2 drinks on the plane, or like, in the airport, like we all have a cocktail or 2 while we're waiting around.
Take the edge off
before you get on. Exactly. She had a couple of drinks before she got on the plane, but she wasn't hammered, and she saw something that she didn't like. Little green man or a lizard man or whatever. She said that guy wasn't real. And people said, she accused us of stealing her iPods. Her, what do you call the
earbuds?
The earbuds, the Apple earbuds. I forgot what they're called. I'm not in the Apple ecosystem, so I don't know. She accused this woman and her young daughter, of stealing her earbuds. That's what they claim. But she actually went off about a guy that was sitting next to her that was gave her a bad vibe. You ever see somebody, you get a bad feeling?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That's the thing too, is that, maybe it's old school, but all the young male followers, you got to understand this. When you go into certain places out in public, you always want to be able to position yourself to protect whoever you're with, your friends or your family, your wife. You always want to be positioned in the place where if something outrageous just happened, that, you always want to kind of know where exits are. You want to be able to not have your back to the action, if you know what I mean. So for me and you, Johnny, that's just stuff that you learned as a young boy, like, but these days I don't understand. I don't think people understand it. I walked into places, and a good friend of mine, boxer Antonio Tarver, he had posted a video not long ago of him walking into a certain restaurant, and every lady was against the wall and every guy's back was against the aisle. So it's like, what would you do if something, crazy happened right here where you had to, try to protect somebody or, had to take somebody out? You'd be harmless. There's nothing you could do. But yeah, that was just like a standard procedure. And doing security, that's the first people you scope out is the shadiness, and you watch every move. And I did that for so long, back in the day when, everybody smoked cigarettes. I could pretty much tell you just by looking at a person, this person's going to pull out a Marlboro Red, or this guy's got a Newport Cadillac, just by body language and just by seeing the way people wore their shoes or their boots and stuff like that, but yeah, that was before everybody had cell phones in front of their face looking at those.
Absolutely.
I don't know why I went on that tangent, but
Well, it's an important thing to learn. It's a life lesson. When you go
Yeah.
into a bar, you go into a restaurant, guys, always sit facing the door. Don't have your back to the action. Always the way you came in, you want to be facing that if you can while you're in there, so you know how to get out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have your head
Absolutely.
on a swivel in this day and age.
Head on a swivel. And I just saw
That's it.
something else I'd like to chime in on. I guess in the NFL news, the
Mm-hmm.
Denver Broncos new head coach, Sean Payton, was very critical of the Broncos last year. And I guess he had mentioned, that the guy running the team, Nathaniel Hackett, just pretty much did a piss poor job. And that's kind of what he said, out loud during, a interview. And I guess Nathaniel Hackett clapped back and said that, you broke the code. I guess you shouldn't be, throwing salt on another person's wounds with the NFL. But yeah, I saw that. What do you think? That's the thing with coaches, man. There's so much emotion going into coaches, and sometimes those questions hit you, and you don't even have a second to breathe, and you can't just freestyle your answer sometimes as those NFL coaches. And maybe it's been Sean Payton being out of the league for a year or two that he forgot about that. But what do you think about that with breaking code and whatnot?
Well, I'm reading the article right now, New York Post, in the sports section. Hackett said, I've been involved in this business my whole life, 43 years as a coach. As a coach's kid, we live in a glass house. We know that. Said Hackett, who didn't even wait for questions at the press conference. There's a code and there's a way things are done in house. And I firmly believe if you've got a problem with somebody, keep it in house. You don't make it public. You don't go and run your mouth to someone else. You go to somebody man to man and say, hey, this is what's pissing me off about you, and try to hash it out that way. You don't go and don't air your dirty laundry. That's what I believe. If you got a problem with your wife, you got a problem with your husband, you're not going to go and go in a chat room somewhere or go tell all the neighbors. You're going to go right to that person and say, hey, what's going on here? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? We usually do it this way. You're doing it this way now. What the heck is going on? Communication. That's the main thing. And obviously, the lines of communication suck in that organization. So, I don't
Amen to
know.
that, Johnny. I'll tell you a kind of instance. When I did the security work at the bars, at the nightclubs, you
That's
know,
right. You did that, didn't you?
yes,
You did
sir.
all
Yes,
that.
sir.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah.
Several years. Uh, sometimes you'll get one individual that'll just be acting up. And I tell you what, if you go over to that individual when he's around all his buddies and tell him, man, you got to go,
Mm-hmm.
that pretty much goes over like a fart in church.
Mm-hmm.
It is not the thing to do. You do not do that. You are going to escalate the situation big time. Nobody wants to get kind of, told what to do or punked out in front of their posse or their crew. So, yeah, I would always wait until the individual was away from that crew or pull that one individual, outside. My hearing's terrible anyway. So come on outside. Let's just, chop it up real quick. And you can't do that type of deal. We want you to stay here. You guys are having a good time. That be it. Yeah, you don't want to go over there and say, hey man, y'all got to roll, or you're a problem, man. You can't be doing this, in front of his friends, man. That's a big time no. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that, is on the same course as, him kind of saying that message, out loud to everybody. I mean, anybody that watched that team, I know we could get Don Wayne because he's a Broncos guy. I'm
Yes, he
sure
is.
everybody that watched that team, they know that they were not that great of a football team last year, and they definitely, under we're just not at the bar they set their standards at.
Right.
So they definitely underachieved last year big time. But yeah, that's another life lesson right there.
Oh yeah.
You're doing security at a spot, and one guy in the crew is acting up, man. Don't go over there and yell at him in front of the whole crew, man. That's a big no right there.
Yeah. That's it's You've got to be. You're dealing with drunk people, and they do spend a lot of money. Drunks spend a lot of money in bars, but when you're dealing with that, you've got to. Yeah, you can turn a situation into a powder keg if you approach it the wrong way. But you're skilled at that. I mean, you've been doing it for years, and you did it for years. I should say you're not doing it anymore. But you carry that. You carry that daily.
Yep.
Dealing with people, and you know how to talk to people. So
Yep.
yeah, just it's a certain respect. Even though the guy was probably an idiot in the nightclub or the bar, you showed him a small amount of respect by saying, "Come here, come on, let's go off to the side and talk." So.
Yeah,
Respect people. That's what you got to do.
Wise woman once said you could attract more flies with sugar than you do shit. You ever heard that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll give a huge shout out to our sponsors, Sideline Design. Man, those guys are they are locking in new teams every single day. Any level of sports, if you want to look better, you want to look prestige, you want to get your own rookie cards, man, go to Sideline Design. They will hook you up. Huge shout out to Cultivate Wellness. Check out the website. They've got the edibles, the topicals, the smokables, you name it. That place is a one-stop shop there. Their website's amazing. They'll deliver it right to your door. And a huge shout out to St. Pete Rejuvenate. I believe we're going to go live later, and we're going to announce our CO2 lift winner. We did another raffle this month, and I believe we'll be announcing the winner later on today, live here on Totem Pole Nation. But
right. I got to ask you before you go further. You can't throw that nugget out there and then try to move on to the next one. CO2 lift? What exactly is a CO2 lift? This has got to be something brand new.
See, that is why you're going to have to tune in live here, because I will have an expert explain it to you. Because myself, I need it explained to me like I'm 5 years old, pretty much. But yeah, gotcha. They'll have you feeling phenomenal, looking good, and yeah, we're gonna do that later on, and we're gonna get the expertise and everything in that. So I'm excited about that. We've been doing a lot of good stuff there at St. Pete Rejuvenate. Like we were mentioning with the amazing donations from Mr. Matthews that just hooked up the program. We've been able to really bless some people there at St. Pete Rejuvenate, and that's what it's all about. Just trying to help people. You got to give to get back and stuff like that. Those blessings that you give, they always come back to you. And yeah, I'm just excited about what we're doing, and I look forward to us doing more in the future. And yeah, Totem Pole Nation, we really appreciate you guys checking in. Any last words before we hit the end button, sir?
That's all I got, boss. That's all I got down here in Summerfield. So
you got it, guys. Well, tune in later on. I'll post a message when we're about to go live, and then we'll just go live with it. But thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back Thursday. And until then, to the next episode, take care, guys. Thank you.